Start your day the joyful way. It's your weekday morning talk show inviting you to start your day with a triple shot of good vibes. And now here's your host, the queen of joy herself, Jessica Dugas. Good Tuesday morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, June the 7th, 2022. I've mentioned that we are in the midst of birthday season in our house, birthday season number 1. And my oldest daughter's birthday is tomorrow. So really excited about that. She's going to be 15. I can't. How did we get 1 year away from 16 with her? I don't know. 1 minute she's breaking out of her crib. She never stayed in there. And the next minute we're a year out from driving. I don't know what's going on. Someone send help. I am so glad you guys are with us this morning, giving our supporters a shout out down the bottom there today. Thank you so much for supporting this network. I mentioned before, a lot of the to-do with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case has opened the barn doors to people being upset about commentary online and self-produced shows, etc. And I want to make it very clear that a lot of our shows, this one included, this network included, are crowdfunded. And so we really appreciate the supporters on our network. Appreciate all of you so much. And I have an update to do because I got to add Miss Brittany now too as well. So thank you guys so much for your support. I appreciate you incredibly. Listen, on today's show today, some of you may or may not know that I myself am an author. I have published 5 different things since 2017, and I will be sharing a little bit about my author journey. And I'm hoping that this is going to be inspirational for anybody out there that was told, maybe didn't get the best marks in language arts class in school. Maybe we're not avid readers until later. Maybe we're not the best at writing. And maybe have felt like their story wasn't important enough to tell. And so I'm really excited to share a little bit about my journey today, interviewing myself. So I would love for you guys to ask questions, please, and thank you, in the comments. Also, if you're just joining us live, I would love for you to say hello, good morning. Let us know where you're joining from in the comments. And of course, what is bringing you joy today. And let me know how you're doing. What's bringing me joy today? So first of all, speaking of authors, and she will be back on the show. You guys got to see her during our May series, but she will be back on Monday. Next Monday. I officially started my Gratisize 365 journal from Sharon Zaraga Walters. Really excited. She's amazing. She's going to be back on Monday to talk specifically about the book and her author journey. Obviously, when she was on during our May series, she talked about gratitude. I was so excited to receive the book. You guys, this is amazing. This is amazing. I started it yesterday. When you start the book, and we'll, of course, dive into this when Sharon's on the show. When you start the book, you have to sign a little promise to yourself. I, Jessica S. Dugas, will give each day of the daily Gratisize routine my best effort for the next 365 days by using the gratitude exercises, following the 4 steps, and writing down my experiences in the pages of this book. I will be able to see the results of how exercising gratitude is changing my life. I will start this on insert date here. Mine was 6/6/22, and you sign it with gratitude and your name. So you start by signing that promise, and then you work your way through the book every day. It's fantastic. I love it, and I can't wait to dive into that with Sharon on Monday. What else do I have going on here today? Oh, I got to get my book out here. What else is bringing me joy? Sleep. Sleep is bringing me joy. Let me think. Water brings me joy this morning. Things that help me with my overall wellness. Sleep has become very important in my life. Water, very important. I wake up every day, even though my coffee is not telling the truth. It says, but first coffee. No, I need a but first water. mug. It's what I need. I do my lemon water in the morning. It's actually my second full cup of lemon water today. And I'm grateful for having fresh, clean water because, as we know, that is not the case everywhere in the world. I'm also bringing me a lot of joy today. Is after Project Joy this morning, I'm recording my episode with my Italy guest for the Breakthrough Show series, Breakthroughs Around the World. I'm really excited about this because, as I've shared before, my ancestors, some of my ancestors from my mom's side of the family are from Sicily. And I have always been fascinated by stories and things that we hear from Italy. So really excited about digging into that this morning and recording that. That episode will come out not this Friday, because this Friday we're going to Australia, but the next Friday we will be going to Italy. Followed by the Friday after that, we're going to Ghana, Africa, which William, you guys, it's such a good story. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. National days today. I want to tell you about a couple of things really quickly. But let me head over to the comments and see who's joining us this morning. Juju's here this morning. Good morning, Juju. It's good to see you today. Miss Brittany here. It's Brittany. You know what comes after that. It's here today. It's good to see you. Mona Lashbrook is here this morning. Good morning, Mona. It is good to see you today. It has been a long time, my friend. I hope you are doing well. I see your question, Juju. I'm going to save it. I'm going to star it. Judith Finneran is here. Good morning, Judith. It is good to see you today. And Judith will be joining us to talk about her book and the process of it. Let's see what day she's going to be. Look, if I can get the correct calendar up, that'd be amazing. Here we go. Judith will be here Friday the 17th. Friday the 17th, Judith will be here on Project Joy Live to talk about her book during our summer reading series. So let's talk about our national days today because it's a good day. First of all, it is World Caring Day. World Caring Day. Each year on June 7th, World Caring Day shines a spotlight on all the ways we connect and show each other we care. After all, we should always take the time to celebrate the millions of acts of caring that we see. All acts of caring, whether big or small, are important. Caring is continuous and happens every day through compassion, support, kindness, and understanding. Love that. I love that. So it is World Caring Day. Happy World Caring Day, everybody. It is also National Oklahoma Day. Happy Oklahoma Day to all those who may be watching from Oklahoma today. Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain. Anybody? Okay. I got it. You know, I love all the different state songs. I'm not going to sing the Texas one again, but it'll come. Wait for National Texas Day. I'll be singing that one too. I can't with myself sometimes. All the random songs that pop into my head. It is also apparently National VCR Day. National VCR Day. Anyone on here not know what a VCR is? Do we have to cover it? June 7th, National VCR Day takes a look at the device that revolutionized the home movie watching experience. The observance recognizes the video cassette recorder, that a device that in its time was a marvel of technology. It was. And I remember having when the VHS tapes came out that you could record on. And I have a couple of those, and you go back and it's like New Kids on the Block concert and Saved by the Bell and like all of these different things that I tried to record, and they're like cut and weird places and try to cut out the commercials. Oh my God, I cannot. So anyway, it was in 1970 that the VCR launched, creating a booming mass marketing throughout the 1970s, 80s, and 90s. At the time, the VCR was the primary way to watch movies at home. Millions of people created their own personal movie library. Over 10 billion videotapes remain today, full of recorded memories. These keepsakes hold treasures for millions of people around the world. Love that. Love that. I have good memories of going to the Blockbuster, Going to the Blockbuster. Anybody else remember have good memories of Blockbuster? Just don't be late. You get those late fees, you get those late fees. That's not a good thing. So yeah, National VCR Day. It is also get your snacks ready. Get your snacks ready. It is National Chocolate Ice Cream Day. I'm going to be honest with you. Chocolate ice cream is not my favorite. I like when there's chocolate swirled in ice cream, but plain chocolate ice cream is not my favorite. However, to observe National Chocolate Ice Cream Day on June 7th, all you need is chocolate ice cream. Who says you have to stop there, though? You can have it in a cone or make it from scratch. Add sprinkles or syrup or whipped cream or whatever you want. Chocolate ice cream is the second most common flavor. Surpassed only by vanilla. That's really interesting that there's more vanilla than chocolate. I really assumed that chocolate would have been number one. Because usually when I tell people that I'm not a huge chocolate fan, they're like, what? I love chocolate, but I'm not a huge fan of chocolate cake or chocolate ice cream. The chocolate flavored ice cream has been in existence well over 100 years and has been popular in the United States since the late 19th century. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let's see who else is joining us in the comments this morning. Brett is here in Kenya this morning, you guys. I am so excited that in a couple of hours, Olivia is going to be meeting up with Brett. That's so exciting to me. I was sharing on the show yesterday morning that it brings me so much joy to help bring people together a little bit. And I'm so glad that they're going to be able to do that. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm so thrilled. So thrilled. Yeah. Now we all want ice cream. That's it. That's it. So those are our national days today. After the break, we're going to come back and I'm going to be talking about my journey as an author. And I can't wait to share with you some of the little bits and pieces that I have placed together over the last couple of years. We'll be right back after this, everybody. Don't go anywhere.
Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com.
Welcome back to Project Joy Live. Today is Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I'm thrilled that you are here today. We are in the midst of our summer reading series. We kicked it off with a bang with Norman J. Liverpool IV yesterday. I hope that you had an opportunity to see it. If you did not, go back on that replay. I'm telling you, it was so good. His book is called Over the Top Living, Walking in Next Level Confidence Every Damn Day. Love it. And we talked about how his mom, I asked him if he ever had that reaction to the title. He said, yes, his mother was the first one that had that reaction. So I love it. I love it. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about my own author journey today. And as I've asked, since I'm interviewing myself today, I would love for you guys to ask questions and let me know below. I have started one from I starred one from Juju, and if you have any other questions, let me know, and I will get to those as well. So, my author journey began when I was very young. Knew I wanted to be an author? Hardly the case. Not true. False. So I growing up was struggled with reading. I really struggled with um, staying focused, interest in reading, lots of different things that I struggled with reading wise. It was probably language arts was probably my most challenging subject. So needless to say, not being that great at reading made it a challenge for me to, writing something wasn't even in my mindset. And then when it came to writing later on in school, I really struggled. I had a hard time. A lot of times in writing class, you're asked to, or in even in language arts period, you're asked to read something and then to write a summary. I could never write a summary. I would get in so much trouble because every single detail was so important to me. And this is going to come into play in my my writing journey. I couldn't just summarize. I basically would rewrite the book in my own words, and then they would be like, we asked for a paragraph, and that's, what are you doing, Jessica? And so I was never really, I don't remember being told that I was a good writer. I remember just struggling with detail type things. And I wasn't, grammar wasn't my forte, etc. So I did not grow up at all with any of that. I think one of the things that really helped me was when I started writing music, because in writing music, traditional music on the note paper that you write the music paper, you have to be very careful with details, because if you're not, obviously the song is then played in a different way. And even in reading music, traditional sheet music, it became that I feel like is where I learned how to pay attention to little details about how important things are, because it was really, it was important. Brittany made Brittany made the comment, college writing sucks. It does, and that's probably why I dropped out of college. That was, other than speech class, believe it or not, I hated speech. My speech teacher was horrid. Our speech professor was horrid in college, and yeah, I just wasn't a fan of any of it, really. So all of that to say, I did not have a background of writing, etc. One, my two experiences looking back, influenced me as an author. And that kind of ties into our My Way series and everything else that we do here on the network. There was two things that happened that encouraged me to write in my way. First thing was in middle school. My Mr. Beverly was a fantastic reading teacher that I had. And he would always bring fun books into the classroom. And when I went to go graduate 8th grade, he gave me a copy of the Dr. Seuss book, Oh, the Places You'll Go. And he only chose a couple students to give that to. And it meant a lot to me. So I guess there's three incidences here. It's my bad. And so he made the experience like you can choose. You don't always have to. It's not just about what you're being asked to read. It's choosing as well. The next thing was that I volunteered. I basically lived at the library. I loved all of the different things. And so volunteering at the library showed me, first of all, how much was out there, like the variety of writing styles, etc. And also with all of the activities that I participated in at the library, that it wasn't always just about writing, or like the reading process, or the love of reading for people wasn't just about the writing process and things that I was scared of. That there were fun things going on too. The third thing was that senior year of high school, I was in a very basic reading or English class to get my, so I could graduate. And my high school English teacher, for senior year, we had to do senior year, you have to do Shakespeare, if you guys remember correctly. And she made it, I was terrified. I have a hard enough time understanding regular English, let alone old English, Shakespearean style English. And she had us, our project for the big Shakespeare thing was to create a soundtrack for a Shakespeare play. And here I am. I love music. And suddenly, the writing part of writing out this whole report became so much easier because I was able to lean on something that I loved to get me through the writing, which was music. And so those three things had a big impact on me going forward. So fast forward to 2015 or so. This was 5 years after my brother Adam passed away. And it was, I started to feel like I might have a story that I want to tell. I might have some things that I want to say. And I had started doing some coaching and stuff at that time. And I knew that I had things I wanted to say. I just wasn't sure how I was going to say it. And I think I had started surrounding myself with people at that time who wanted to listen to my stories. And that was, I think, a big impact for me because that was the first time I felt like people were interested in what I had to say. And it was allowing me to draw on a confidence that I didn't really have in myself. And so that was about the time when people started asking me, what are you doing? How are you functioning? Because I had been through such an incredible grief process with losing my grandparents and my brother and everything else. And really had been through a lot of challenge with that. And everybody was asking me, how are you doing it? And so a lot of what I was recognizing is that I had learned to cope through these incredible changes in my life. And so I sat down to write what became my first writing, which is an ebook called Coping Through Change. Now, that ebook has since been pulled from my site and everything else because I'm actually in the process now of doing an update, a rewrite, and it'll be out in regular form. This was an interactive ebook. I wanted this to be something that everybody could that it wasn't like this long, difficult to read thing. I wanted it to be interactive. I have included meditations, a printable, all of this stuff that people could use and add to their toolkit. I didn't just want it to be something where someone picked it up, read it, put it down, and never thought about it again. I wanted it to be interactive. Obviously, they weren't picking it up either if it was an ebook, but you get my drift here. And so I wrote that in around 2017, probably 2016. And it was a really amazing book. It had, so I mentioned it before, it had several modules, 5 modules, and then next steps had a little bit about me. And so that's like another reason, the big thing that has to change. I was leading the Moms Online Mastermind at the time. My work was, like I said, in coaching. It was very different. So all of that came and went, and then I was presented with the opportunity in 2017 to write for a compilation of stories. Now, the ebook that I wrote was just me. I did the editing, I did the design, I did the writing. It was a short book. It was not complicated, but there was a lot. I did everything myself. When I was presented with the opportunity to write and shine, and that was a couple of friends of mine were involved as well. And I thought this was a great opportunity for me to start really telling my story, which was about, everything that I had been experiencing since the loss of my brother in 2010. And so this was a whole other experience. And now you're going to see some of this other stuff that I mentioned coming into play. We had limits for this book. And you guys may have, some of you may have written in compilation books. Some others of you may have been offered to write for compilation books before. Basically, it's several authors coming together, writing a story or writing their story and putting them together under a specific theme. We had a certain number of words that we had to stick to. And we had a deadline. And both of those things presented huge challenges for me. I am an overthinker. The deadline was like me sweating on a daily basis, going, oh my God, I don't know if I can get all of this done in time. The part though, of limiting the words, going back to the issue I had of summarizing, my initial draft of my story in here probably was 10, 12, 15 pages, something like that. Yeah. It was a lot. And it was supposed to be literally just a couple of pages. I'm trying to find the story in here as well. There it is. So my story in the book is called Lost and Found. The editing process was challenging for me. I didn't want to cut out anything. I felt like everything was important. I felt in the end like almost the story ends up being rushed because I only had so much space to put it in. And so it was really a challenge for me. It really was. But it was also a great experience. I learned that a story can still be powerful without every detail. It also taught me, this book was the catalyst for me starting the Breakthrough Show Network. Through this book, I learned about the power of storytelling, that it didn't have to be like my ebook was, which is, here are the 5 steps. Here are the 5 things that you can do to cope with changing your life. This was telling a story and people were still able to learn things. I learned a three-part benefit to storytelling through this. Number 1, it's healing for you. As an author, it is an extremely healing process to pen to paper write your story. Number 2, it's healing for other people to read your story. Someone somewhere is going to resonate with what you say, and it is going to change lives. My mother's reaction to my story was a huge part in me realizing the power of storytelling. And number 3, it brings us together. It gives us something to talk about. It allows us to share space together. And so through that realization of the power of storytelling, when I was finished with the book became a bestseller, by the way. This is one of my old copies. I don't have the bestseller sticker on it. But it became a bestseller. And I was like, what do I do now? I loved video. I loved talking more than writing. Um, and I said, I want to create the space for people to tell stories. And that's how the Breakthrough Show and then the Breakthrough Show Network was born as a result of writing in this book. So writing can also be a huge catalyst for other things to come in your life, in your business, however you want to look at it. So that was a big thing for me. The second book that I did, also under publisher Linda Joy, was another compilation book, Soul Hearted Living. This one was by Dr. Deborah Riebel, and this was just an opportunity for me to include quotes from myself. And so this is basically a daily type thing where every day you have a passage to read, and we all had the opportunity to submit quotes. So I have quotes in this book amongst people like Maya Angelou and Oprah Winfrey and Dr. Deborah Riebel herself, and some friends of mine like Crystal Cockerham, Siri Ridenauer, Tara Abrams, Linda Joy. So my quotes were included in this, and this opportunity really spoke to me because this showed me even more so than Shine did, the power of several people's voices coming together and the beautiful sort of music that it can make putting all of it together. So I have two quotes in this book, but I also want to give you an example. So I'll read today's, which is June 7th. June 7th says, cultivate self-love. Quote, when we are able to see the choices we make through the eyes of self-acceptance, we are transformed. Jody Liven. Wake up in the morning loving yourself, even when you feel tired, uninspired, or depressed. Focus on the aspects of yourself that you love rather than those you dislike. Stop berating, shaming, or beating yourself up with negative self-talk. As you move through your day, notice any self-depreciating thoughts or words and replace them with positive affirmations such as, I am kind, I am generous, or I am trustworthy. Imagine how one moment of self-compassion could change your day. Now consider how such moments repeated over and over could change your life. And then there's an affirmation at the bottom of every page. This one says, I cultivate a climate of self-love with loving self-talk. So each day has a title, a quote, a passage to read, and then finishes with an affirmation. And again, this is called Soul Hearted Living. So this book in particular came out. So Shine came out in 2018 in September. Soul Hearted Living came out the very end of December 2018 as well. So my quotes can be found on page on the August 14th passage under Live with Passion and Purpose. And my first quote is, when you feel a sense of peace in your life, allow yourself to completely bathe in that moment, feeling it with all of your senses. Carry it with you. That's my first quote. And again, that's August 14th. And my other quote is on September 29th, soulful alignment. What really counts during a time of transition is remembering that you are at the wheel for how you cope with it. Happiness starts with you. So those are my two quotes, September 29th as well as August 14th. And that is in Soul Hearted Living by Dr. Deborah Riebel. So that was a really cool experience as well. Throughout, excuse me, after those books, I had a dream. We've heard that quote before. I had a dream. I was doing a lot of. I had started my Reiki journey. I had become a Reiki master teacher in 2017. I was doing a lot of spiritual development work with people and spiritual leadership, and I had a dream that literally the moon had come down from the sky. It was changing colors. It was wild, wild. I tell the whole thing in the book that comes with these, but it turned out I woke up the next day after this dream. I painted these pictures of moons. And after the paintings, I knew that I was supposed to create cards. And that's when Colors of the Moon was born. And there's me on the back. These were published in 2019. Colors of the Moon are a 48 card oracle deck that I painted all the images. I wrote the book that went along with this was 82 pages, something like that. I was like, is it going to end? No, it's not. This one, again, I went back to that freedom of this is my book. It can be as long as it wants. This is my project. I can do it how I want to. And this was a great experience because this was the first time a story, an image, a whatever had been divinely led. This was so easy. The easiest experience writing I have ever had. The most difficult thing was going back afterwards and doing like little grammatical edits. So this project was something that literally I had the dream. Within 24 hours, the images were painted, and I can show you guys what the actual images. And it's a rainbow deck. Within 24 hours, I had painted the images. Within 48 hours, I had written the meanings. Every card has an affirmation and a word, a focus word. Within 24 hours, I had painted, or 48 hours, I had come up with the words and the meanings. And within a month, the 80-something page book was done. So this was fast. This was divinely led. This was something that was an incredible experience for me and allowed me to lean into my intuition and allow something to be birthed without worrying so much about perfection. Just let it out. If you have something to share, follow it and let it come out. So that was a really cool experience. Again, that was 2019 when that came out. In 2020, in May, I was asked to participate in another compilation book by a fabulous author who's actually going to be joining us. Let me make sure, because she's joining us this week. I think tomorrow she'll be on, Lori Ann Davis. Let me make sure. Yes, tomorrow Lori Ann Davis will be on, and I'm sure we'll touch on this tomorrow as well. Radical Self-Love is a book that Lori Ann Davis and Laura Menzie put together. Several authors in here. It's a very easy read. You guys can see. And this was all about topics of loving yourself and things that tie in with that. This was such a cool experience. Again, I'm on a time limit. I'm on a number of words limit. So your girl had to rein it in again. But it was fun. I felt a sense of freedom with this though, because Lori and I were really close. And so it meant a lot to me to be asked specifically. This wasn't just something I signed up for. She requested that I be a part of this. And I got to write 2 chapters in this book. So 2 of these babies are mine. And this was a lot of fun. Other names you might recognize in here, Crystal Cockerham, who also was a host on the Breakthrough Show Network, and Jeremy Witcher, who had been on the show and a co-host as well. Some of the things in the book are vision and self-love, limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, and silent authenticity. That one's mine. And the other one that I want to share with you today, because I feel like this is just such a good chapter. Rewriting the definition of self-compassion. Rewriting the definition of self-compassion. It's on page 113. And so I want to read, because this is fairly short, and I want to read this to you, my chapter in this one. And you've got to get the book to read the other chapter, though. Rewriting the definition of self-compassion by Jessica Dugas. Quote, If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. The Dalai Lama. Dictionary.com says that compassion is the following. Noun, a feeling of deep sympathy and sorrow for another who is stricken by misfortune, accompanied by a strong desire to alleviate the suffering. I believe this definition is contributing to a lack of compassion for both ourselves and others. By the end of this chapter, I hope you'll be able to move forward with a new definition that will allow you to be compassion each and every moment of your life. Compassion and people pleasing. Compassion is both a personal practice and one that's essential to our relationships with others. We'll start with the easy part. Why is compassion essential to our relationship with others? In many cases, we find it much easier to show compassion and sympathy towards others than we do for ourselves. How many times have you given someone a break for something that they've done when you wouldn't have given yourself the same courtesy? This compassion solely for others can have a tendency to become rampant in one's life if you're not aware of your own intentions and spiritual development. Have you ever been called a people pleaser? We see this kind of compassion for others before ourselves a lot in people pleasers. Why? Because it's natural for people pleasers to put others before themselves. The desire to make others happy tends to come before their own happiness. Therefore, when it comes to compassion, it's the same concept. The desire to be more compassionate to others is more natural than being compassionate to oneself. All of that said, I'm going to twist your thinking again. I wrote an article not too long ago for Aspire magazine that essentially describes people pleasing as a superpower. And I can give anybody that link that would like to read that article. That's an article I'm very, very proud of. Now, I know your jaw may have hit the floor on that one, but hear me out. Inside my being lives a save the world feeling that is so strong that it's often difficult for me to hide it. It's an overwhelming sense of compassion. It's more than just wanting to save the world. It's sensing what the world is feeling as if it's all a part of you. My wake-up call came when I was triggered so badly by someone using that people pleaser label. I thought to myself, how can wanting to help others and seeing other people be happy be a bad thing? Even in the dictionary, to please means to cause to feel happy and satisfied. I can't for the life of me see that as bad. I believe this is partly where we've gone wrong. As a society, we've at different times or another demonized both sides of the coin. Long ago, and even carrying a little into today, people would say it was a bad thing if you were too focused too much on yourself. You were called selfish or lazy, or even worse, if you took time off, took a nap, or did something compassionate towards yourself and put your own personal needs before others. Today, especially in the personal development world, we often see the opposite. As soon as you talk about putting someone or something before yourself, or even being compassionate towards someone to the point where it allows you to reconsider the thoughts and beliefs you once had, it's almost guaranteed that someone will slap a people pleaser label on you. Being compassionate towards others is wonderful in many ways. It allows you to see other perspectives, helping you to understand others and yourself better. It makes you happier. It's contagious. If you're showing compassion, it encourages others to do the same. It can make you feel good about yourself. The benefits are endless. The one about it making you feel good about yourself brings me to the more difficult part of compassion, which is self-compassion. Self-compassion is necessary. If you're currently a person who is not very compassionate towards themselves, I would say go back to the last section and start with being more compassionate towards others. It might seem counterintuitive that compassion toward others can be the fuel that is needed to ignite a much needed compassion for yourself. Self-compassion is just as necessary to our well-being as compassion for others. It's often more difficult to have compassion for ourselves because there are many subconscious beliefs we have been taught about caring for ourselves and putting others first, or putting ourselves first, excuse me. Sometimes our subconscious mind takes it to the next level by tricking us into believing that if we're compassionate towards others, we can't simultaneously have compassion. Excuse me, if we're compassionate towards ourselves, we can't simultaneously have compassion for others. This is probably one of the biggest lies we've allowed ourselves to believe, right up there with not being able to experience a range of emotions all at once. So, this chapter was really the start for me over 2 years ago of looking at the multifaceted nature of people and being really passionate about that topic. In general, we are much harder on ourselves today than we might have been years ago. Most of us live in a very fast-paced society where we are constantly encouraged to push, 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 rise, 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 succeed, succeed, succeed. We see this even in relations between governments and people around the world. If one country is doing better in one area than another, the pressure is on for that country to improve and improve. Now, don't get me wrong, competition can be a good thing, but we often aren't getting the full picture, which brings me to my next point. Social media puts all of this in our faces every moment of every day, and it's not always accurate. What we typically see on social media are what I refer to as light switch moments. This is where we see someone that was fat and now is thin, someone who was poor and now is rich, or someone who is unsuccessful and is now successful. We are missing all of the stuff in between. We're missing the struggles, the trials, the failures. We often see this and it feels so out of reach for our own lives. We try, and then we may come up against a block of some kind. Then we give up because we feel like we're doing something wrong because it doesn't look as easy as what Sally influencer posted on Instagram. The way of social media, fast-paced society, and even our leaders encourage us to live isn't contributing to self-compassion. If you feel the pressure, you are not alone. We must learn to be compassionate towards ourselves and get out of comparison mode. Because we know external forces are not encouraging self-compassion, it is an absolute necessity that we understand that compassion is in our hands. It's 100% on us to decide to be compassionate towards ourselves. No one is going to do it for us. So how can we be more compassionate to ourselves in a world that doesn't encourage it? Here are 5 ideas to get you started. Number 1, get in the practice of building yourself up often. Congratulate yourself for every single thing that you accomplish, no matter how small you think it is. This may not come natural to you, but keep up with it and it will become a habit. Number 2, forgive yourself every time. No matter what you do that feels like you failed, offer yourself forgiveness. Also, give yourself the permission to fail. Failure at some point in your life is inevitable. It's what you choose to do with that failure that counts. Number 3, be present. When you think too far in the past or the future for too long, you forget to be present. Then, when you're not present, you are less likely to have compassion for what you're dealing with in the moment. You are too busy worrying about what has happened or what's to come. Number 4, speak to the child in you. Think about it. For those of you who are parents, you'll understand this point. We are often so much more compassionate towards children than we are to adults. We slap a plethora of excuses on this behavior. For example, we might not be compassionate toward an adult because we expect that they should know better. When we picture ourselves as a child and speak to ourselves in that manner, we will naturally become more compassionate. Number 5, create better habits for yourself. Even if you aren't accustomed to speaking to yourself in a compassionate way, you can create habits that are compassionate in nature. They say actions speak louder than words, right? This may be even more powerful than speaking, depending on you as an individual. Choosing to make good choices for yourself is a wonderful act of self-compassion, whether you're choosing to eat better, move your body more, or give up something that may be causing you harm in one way or another. In addition to these ideas, there are so many more ways to show self-compassion that it would be impossible to list them all here. What I do know is that it's up to you to find what works for you and implement it. You may not get it right away, or you may feel what you're doing isn't working, but it is a practice. This means you need to do something daily, long term, to really see change in your life. Remember, just as having compassion for others fuels self compassion fuels compassion for the world. Bonus thought: if you're struggling to see where you might already be showing yourself compassion in your life, or where you could be more compassionate, ask someone else to give you an outside perspective. Now, let's rewrite that definition. Go back to the definition for compassion. Noun: a feeling of deep sympathy and sorrow for another who is stricken by misfortune, accompanied by a strong desire to alleviate the suffering. As I said in the beginning, this definition is part of the reason we have a lack of compassion for ourselves and others. Now that I've shared about the importance of compassion and how easy it can be to choose compassion, I'll explain. First, compassion is more than just sympathy and sorrow. It's love, it's peace, it's joy, it's frustration, it's so many emotions. What emotions have you experienced when it comes to compassion? Next, the definition says stricken by misfortune. I have a question for you. Why are we waiting until we experience misfortune to be compassionate? Have you ever thought about that before? Honestly, until I sat down to write this chapter, I hadn't given it much thought. However, throughout the writing process, it's a question that has come up for me time and time again. For me, there is no question that we should show compassion to others all the time. But what if we choose to live self-compassion every moment of every day, in moments of misfortune and moments of thriving? The next question is, what if we acted on that strong desire instead of just having it? What if we put action behind our compassion, especially when it comes to ourselves? Wouldn't compassion being an amazing verb too, not just a noun? I encourage you to think about these things, and I invite you to rewrite the definition of self-compassion with me so that we can thrive in this life and, by extension, change the world. Self-compassion, noun: the life-giving feelings you have for yourself every moment of every day, allowing yourself to fully love yourself, forgive yourself, and own your worth, accompanied by a strong desire and actions to change anything that stands in the way of that. How will you choose to show yourself compassion today and every day? So that is my chapter in the Radical Self-Love book. That is the last book that I had written. Since that time, I am currently, as I said, working on rewriting, not rewriting, but adjusting and making a paperback format of Coping Through Change. And also, I am working on writing a collection of short stories about growing up with my grandparents, lessons that they taught me without having to say a word, just actions that I witnessed. So I'm in the process of writing that as well. So that's what I'm working on right now. Now, going back to Juju's question, how hard was it to start your book? I'm stuck on how to start it properly. So obviously the different experiences that I've had through these different writings that I've done, it was, I think one of the best things that I could do for same thing, but different, same concept, but different focus points. So the books that where I was telling my story. So in Shine, I told a little bit in Coping Through Change. The storytelling part is easy because that, for me, it's like, okay, I decide on a timeline and go, it's as easy as starting at the beginning and walking through. For Radical Self-Love, that was interesting. So Lori gave us guidelines of where, you know, she wanted us to include a quote. And then kind of what I learned about writing is grab your attention, grab your reader's attention in the beginning. Say, you know, a focus statement, or this is what we're going to do, then go back and work through and explain things. And then at the end, circle back around to your point that you made in the beginning. That the one that I just read you was a good example of that, because I kind of said, I don't like, here's a definition. I don't like it. And I really don't like it. Then I went through and explained all the reasons why, step by step. And then at the end, I said, this is what we're rewriting it to. We're going to go back to the other definition. And this is like the mic drop moment at the end. So I think starting it just depends on what kind of writing you're doing and what the purpose is. If it is, even if you're doing something where you're telling your story, so in Shine, this is actually a great example too of that circling back around that happened. The very first line in Shine is, I was never a fan of elevators. Looking back, I recognize it was because being in that enclosed space forced me to get up close and personal with myself. Let me tell you, that's a lousy place to be when you don't like yourself very much. So that was a little kind of look forward at what I come to explain in the story about where that elevator, that physical elevator, just came into play. So a lot of times you want to reference in the beginning something and then explain and then circle back around. But I always start with beginning to end, like literally working through beginning to end. And then you can go in and put in those little nuances later. You can go into, to do anything later. The biggest thing for me, every single thing I've ever written, any of these books, the ones I'm working on now, are just to get it out of my head. You have all of the time in the world once you get it out to edit, to organize, to add to put it in an order, whatever it is, but get it out of your head. To me, that is the most challenging part. A huge tip that was given to me as well was that you don't have to just write it either. If you're trying to recall a story like the ones that I'm writing now for the collection of short stories about my grandparents, I record a lot of those. I record them. I record me telling the story because that's easier for me. And then I go back and write it out based on that story, sometimes word for word, because it can be easier for me to tell a story than it is to write it and then try. Yeah, it's harder for me. So I'm going to go in the comment section and let me know what you guys think. If you have any other questions, I am going to put in the comment section my Amazon link. So I have an author page for the author page for all of the books that I've done, the 3 books there. Obviously, my Oracle cards can be found at jessicadugas.com through the shop button. And then also my author books will obviously be updated when those are out. And then my ebook will, when it's transferred into paperback and all of that, you'll find that on my author page as well. So on the author page, you'll see a little follow button, and when you follow the author, follow me, you'll be updated when I have new books come out as well. So I enjoyed telling you guys a little bit about my writing journey today. We're going to take a quick break because we're running out of time and do birthdays and whatnot. So we'll be right back after this.
Imagine a world where every child gets a great education. Educating all children is the only way to end poverty. This is what the Weiss Scholarship Foundation is working to accomplish. Our 6 staff members, our mentors and coordinators, who are on the ground in Kenya, are totally engaged in every aspect of our students' lives, so we can give them every opportunity for success. In just a few short years, we have already awarded 141 scholarships. We send children to high school who would have never gone without our support. And then we help them go on to either university or vocational school. We have already scaled our holistic business model to 4 locations and are ready to scale it to many more. Today it's Kenya, but tomorrow it's more countries. Please contribute what you can today. You can make a one-time donation, a recurring donation, or choose to sponsor a child all on your own for all 4 years of high school for just $3,500. Go to our website, www.weisscholarshipfoundation.org.
Thanks for watching the Breakthrough Show Network. Today, we'd like to support our friend over at Nail Beauty by Brittany. Purchase your custom press-on Reiki-infused nails by visiting nailbeautybybrittany.com. Don't forget your discount by using the code BREAKTHROUGH. And now, back to the show.
Welcome back to Project Joy Live. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. Today is Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. Thank you guys for listening a little bit to my story. Also, make sure you go to nailbeautybybrittany.com and use the code BREAKTHROUGH and get yourself a discount on your nails because everybody needs their nails did, okay? I see some of y'all trying to go to the beach with never mind. Hope you guys are having a great week so far. We have some birthdays to celebrate today. I actually need to head over and pull my other birthdays out of the woodwork here. But we have some birthdays in the celebrity world. We have Iggy Azalea. She's fantastic. We also have Betty Wap. Prince, the amazing Prince, had a birthday today. Happy birthday. I just want your extra time and your kiss. Anyway. Prince. Liam Neeson has a birthday today. Tom Jones has a birthday today. Vice President Mike Pence, singer Dean Martin, Dave Navarro from Jane's Addiction and the Red Hot Chili Peppers has a birthday today as well. Also, oh my gosh, so many birthdays today. Here we go, you guys. Chanel Marie has a birthday today. Happy birthday, Chanel. These are the celebrities in my life, by the way. Breakthrough Show alumni Fred Moskowitz has a birthday today. Coleman Baker. Diane Harris Warren, I used to go to church with. Her husband was a pastor at a church that I attended. We also have William Rowland, Uncle William. He is my brother Adam's uncle. Also, Jesse and Sarah Beth Yamakowski, who are a couple of friends of mine. They used to be in my choir back in the day when I directed the children's choir, and now they are thriving and doing amazing things. Twins birthday today as well. So let me know if you have anybody that's celebrating a birthday as well today. Let's get her. I didn't get myself ready. I'm all disheveled. This is why I don't interview myself on a regular basis, you guys. Okay, here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Iggy Azalea, Fetty Wap, Prince, Liam Neeson, Tom Jones, Mike Pence, Dean Martin, Dave Navarro, Chanel Marie, Fred Moskowitz, Coleman Baker, Diane Harris Warren, William Rowland, Jesse, and Sarah Beth Yamakowski. Happy birthday to you. Yes. Happy birthday, everybody. Yes, happy birthday to everybody who's celebrating today. Also, really excited tomorrow on our summer reading series, Lori Ann Davis, one of the amazing people that compiled Radical Self-Love, will be on the show. She has several books. She's a relationship expert. I promise you do not want to miss tomorrow's Project Joy Live. She's incredible. She also used to be, a little known fact for any of you that are new to the network, she used to be one of the co-hosts of the Breakthrough Show. So really excited to have her back. It's been a while since she's been back here. Also tomorrow at 6 p.m. we have the replay of Are You Marriage Material at 6 p.m. Central Time on Divine DNA with the Jacksons. They are in the midst of their move. So make sure you tune in for that replay. It was an amazing show. Amazing show. I want to thank all of you for watching or listening wherever you are in the world today. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I want to remind you to make joy a priority in your life today and every day. We'll see you next time. Bye.
You've been tuned in to Project Joy Live with Jessica Dugas, your weekday morning talk show, inviting you to start your day with a triple shot of good vibes only on the Breakthrough Show Network. Binge all past episodes of Project Joy at projectjoypodcast.com. Until next time, help us spread the joy by sharing this episode, and we'll see you soon.